And we live, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, B? Oh God,
Oh man, just the level of unprofessionalism.
sorry, my bad. It's just the perfect timing, bro. Like people decide to call me exactly when I hit the live button. What's
Nah,
up, man?
man. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, man. Hopefully everybody had a great Thanksgiving, spent time with family and friends. Was grateful. We had the great gratitude episode last week. How was your Thanksgiving, sir?
It was really relaxing, man. Honestly, I didn't turn the computer on, but when Thanksgiving was over and we actually had to go work on Monday, I turned the computer on and it was dead. I had to wait 15 minutes for it to charge because I had turned it on the whole time. I think it was like the first year where I really got a chance to just chill and hang out with the family, man. Like I
Yeah.
didn't really do much. How about you? What'd you do?
I literally my ass is flat now. I sat on my ass for 4 days. I
That
had
makes
the
it a
shoulder
bit weird.
problems. I had the shoulder problem, so it was really like I was almost kind of forced to just sit down somewhere. But man, it just I used to not appreciate downtime because I felt like I could be doing something important, working on my business,
Yeah,
doing some cold emails, anything other than sitting down and catching up on shows and watching TV and things like that. But I loved it. Caught up on some holiday movies, watched all my Home Alones. So it was good. It was a
I
good
saw
little week.
I saw the story where you were sitting there on the couch with the computer on,
Yeah,
just watching Home Alone.
yeah,
I,
and it was just times I just fell asleep with the laptop still on my lap, open, not doing nothing.
you gotta be careful. We break that thing. Yo, but that reminded me of one time when you did an Everyday Game Changers episode. Oh, it's not out. Is it out? The one where you asked when was the last time you took a vac-
Nah, it's not out yet. Shout out to my guy Mike Shield. It's not out yet.
Oh, that's a teaser for y'all. My bad, my bad. See, the thing is, when we have things lined up in the calendar ahead like that, I forget what time it is.
Yeah, we in the count, man. We he's in the queue.
He's in the queue, queued up. So yeah, man, we're out of the holidays, or we're in the middle of the holidays now, and I'm over here. So I want to let y'all know why the scene has changed, right? Because a lot of people don't understand. Wednesday, 8 p.m. What are we doing, B? What's the commitment we have made?
Religiously, if I'm the only way I'm not gonna be here is hopefully that y'all are all at my funeral. But I would hope that somebody would put the computer on my casket
That's
and we still going live.
you crazy. You really crazy.
You
No,
feel me?
but the level of commitment, I get it, man. Like right now, I'm pulled over at a gas station, even though I drive a Tesla, I shouldn't even be here. But the idea is that I had to do this, so I remote connected to my phone, and we're doing it. We're on live. That's it. Doesn't matter where
Well, I
we
mean, that's the thing that like when you got accountability partners that won't let you skip a day. This is why people
are.
that do the gym, it's tough to do the gym when it's you by yourself, right? You get bored. You like it's like, oh man, I gotta go. But if you have an accountability partner there with you, it's not as bad. And I feel like that's what we're doing with this Wednesday live every day. It's like, look, did I? It's some days I don't want to do it, but I'm like, nah, we gotta just get it done. Like, had a long day, and I'm like, oh man, I could really use a nap right now, but I know I gotta do this live coming up at 8. So I mean, you pulled over there is to let people know there's no excuse in the world that you can use. Like, granted, you got family and you got emergencies, cool, but it's still a commitment level, and I'm committed, you committed, and we've been doing this, so um, we're gonna continue to do this.
Hell yeah, bro. Ain't nothing gonna stop us but ourselves. That's really the biggest thing that people have to realize. You hold yourself accountable. You have accountability partners, like you said. It's like it makes it easier for you to stay on track. And what ends up happening is a lot of people lose momentum. They lose track. Like inspiration is something it's momentary. Like it
Yeah,
depends on what you're surrounded by. But commitment and dedication and work ethic, that's something that you're digging into places inside of what's driving you to really like keep you going, no matter what. No matter what's in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, I think today I really want to dive into um we had a good meeting yesterday at the studio. Shout out the
That's cool.
F7 Studios in
Okay.
Miami. But I thought it was just a conversation that we had, but I think it's something that's important for people to understand. And we were talking about um the even though you do more than one thing, how do you narrow down when you're working on the personal brand to
Mhm.
the one thing you need people to do? Um, and I navigated three different conversations last night
In
in
three different industries, right?
three different industries, and everybody kept saying, "Yo, who's this guy?" Right? So
Like,
I came in there as the branding guy.
yeah.
But shout out to Felix. I'm like, look, I do this music thing. Like, let's not get it twisted. I had a hard drive on me. So I'm like, yo, let me hear how these speakers sound. Um, and then one of the owners is like, yo, your beats is fire. Like, you got some dope stuff. But then shout out to the Wavy Lord, who's a music video director, who like didn't even. He's like, oh, I know Frame by Da Vinci. So people don't even know it's two separate people, right? So, but when it comes to what I'm specializing in, because you have to be when you building a brand, you have to be the expert in one thing for people to really tap into what it is you're doing.
Mhm.
So although I own a real estate photography company and an interior design company, and we do the stuff with Collab Studios, and I got Framed by Da Vinci and magazines and publications, when all said and done, Baron is the personal branding guy. Now, if you get access and privy to all the other things that I do outside of personal branding, cool. But the personal branding is what I'm focused on, and that's the moniker. That's what I'm trying to be known for because that's what I specialize in. That's what I'm the expert in. Not saying I'm not an expert in those things, but I really myself personally had to say, look, if I put all of this other stuff in my bio, I'm confusing the audience.
Mhm.
And I think that's tough for people, especially people who wear many hats that can do many things. To niche down is hard for them. Like
It's
in your space, we know you great at lighting. We know you a podcast advocate. We know you got public speaking knowledge. You got a lot. Like we ain't even talk the baker and the tailor and the lifeguard and the mailman, whatever. You did so much shit. But at the end of the day, we on podcast advocacy right now. You feel me?
yep.
Not to say that other stuff that you do ain't important, but you've niched down. Like, look, this is the space that I'm going to be the expert in, and I think people have to really understand. They have to do that. They have to pick.
You know what's interesting about what you're saying? What comes to mind to me is like, all right, so I understand lighting, I understand photography, videography, and that niche or that area, that industry of production led me to YouTube channels, led me to creating like talking head vlog style videos, political commentary videos, with my dad and stuff, and then building the studio and doing like TikTok style social media content creation. I started to see, like, as I'm looking back, retroactively thinking about the branding stuff that you teach me, I was niching down and getting more specific to now I'm talking specifically about podcasting, not just content creation, but podcasting and the impact that podcasting has. So I say all of that to ask you the question: is there a downside to niching down too much? So, for example, I speak about podcasting, but what if I say I'm only going to be a specialist at podcasts that talk about the creative arts, for example, and no other genre besides that. Like that's what I specialize in because of my prior knowledge in production and the creative world. I want to speak directly to creatives that want to start podcasts. Is there a downside to that, or do you feel like you should there's a stopping point before you niche down too much?
What I would say is I think niching down too much is a bad thing when you haven't done the research on the scarcity of the people willing to consume that content. So it's like, say, I like to do short films, right? But
Mhm.
I got so niched down that I only like to do short films of ducks' feet, right? Like, you feel me? So it's like you can niche down so much that there's no audience for it. You've created the community. Now you have to go find people or convert people to that, right? So, like in your space, even though you're in the podcast advocacy space, you're in the storytelling aspect of
Yeah.
podcasting, right? Some people like Brendan, right? Brendan is in the guest hosting, right? The
Yeah.
podcast guest. His thing not really focused on the story. He's like, look, we getting eyeballs on you through podcast guesting to really then create the lead funnel for whatever your product or service is, right? And then
Yeah.
some people is like Gil, I feel like is more, he don't really, it's not the storytelling part. Gil's giving you the technical
Mhm.
aspect of podcasting, right? How to start it on your own, that you don't need to have guests. And
Mhm.
you could just turn your camera on and you are the host,
And
sharing
also,
whatever you feel like.
Gil also does the whole aspect of the editing and imperfections out of your show.
Yeah.
Like
So
that's how specific he is to that stuff.
and but it's a place for that, right? His place is for the beginner podcaster who don't know where to start, don't know what gear to start with, budget friendly, right? So it's like he niched down, but there's an audience for that. It's a big audience because now podcasting is so huge that he can create a lot of content around just getting started. Like, yo, here is my Gil Dormius start a podcast for under $100. Boom.
Mhm.
And it's a lane for that. He might Gil, I'm gonna tell you right now, Gil not gonna get you started for under $100. Trust me. But so I just gave you three different examples of people who are in the podcast space, but they're in different niches of the same industry. It's just like me. I'm big on the personal branding. The biggest element of personal branding for me is PR. For somebody else, it may be the content aspect. It may be pick a social media app and run it up. And I put something on Instagram today saying that when you are starting your personal brand, you need to be on every social media platform to find the audience. Once you find the audience, then you can say, okay, this is going to be my dominant platform that I'm going to use to scale, to grow, and then I'm going to repurpose on all the other ones. But when you first starting out, you got to be on them all because you don't know where your audience is. So you
Yeah.
got to let these social medias make you have some discoverability, and then once you get the data, then you can say, "Oh, okay, man, I'm getting better on TikTok, man. I'm forget Instagram, or like I'm getting better on YouTube Shorts. Forget Instagram." So that was my post today. Like, you need to be on all platforms when you first starting out your personal brand.
You know,
But if you go on YouTube, people gonna tell you no. Pick one, dominate it, and then
yeah.
spill over those. And I
So
think this is a terrible idea.
that brings up a question that I asked in a recent like workshop that I was doing with the music studio Formula 7, where I asked them what's the difference between quantity versus quality. And then when they were able to outline that in their own words, do you need to go through quantity to get to quality?
Mm,
Right. So when the kind of stuff you're talking about is like you just need to create the content by any means that you can right now,
yeah.
because the act of creating is what you need to build. That's the behavior you need to build. Then as you go through that repetition, you get better at making the content, and it just so happens that when the videos are good and the content is quality, then you
Yeah.
see the results of that content. A lot of people think that it's because of the amount of content that they have, which in a way, yes and no, because you're dealing with a lot of volume that's being put out there. But when you do get good quality content, you can stand out easier, I feel. you know, when it's
I
more.
mean, I think I think it's this aspect of people creating content that they make it harder than it really has to be.
Mhm.
I'm gonna put a video out tonight, on my Frame by Da Vinci page. I went to a real estate shoot today, and I just, like I told you, I'm trying to get to really educating back on my channel. And I was at this house, and I love when it's a vacant house where I could just use the lockbox code, and I don't have no real estate agent bother me, and I could just get in and get out. But I took my tripod with me today, and I did a little intro video, and I wanted to encourage photographers to say, look, if you're a portrait photographer or a fashion photographer, and you haven't even tried real estate because there's money in it, you should give it a try,
Mhm.
right? If you got gaps you need to fill in between the other paid gigs that you do, try real estate. You might be surprised that it pays consistently.
Mhm.
And I didn't have a mic or none of that. I just turned the phone on, got close enough to it that the audio sounded good, and I'm like, oh, I'll put it out later. And that's the point that I think that when it comes to like the creating of content, people make it because they see everybody else's contents look so good that they like, oh man, nobody gonna like my stuff because I don't have an editor and cool flying graphics and VFX coming in and all. So and it's like, yo, just put the content out. If the content is good, you know, maybe it's something you can revisit later and make better
Mhm.
down the road, right?
It's the fear of judgment, right? Or fear of failure because of what you've already seen. So you
Yeah.
see all this, and you're consuming all this constant content, and then as you find it, the algorithm serves you up even more of that specific category. That you then, in your mind, you're like comparing yourself and what you want to create to that stuff when you
Yeah,
don't
that's
have to.
that's the imposter syndrome part. It's
Yeah.
like, dang, here we go, man. I want to do this, but man, I'm not doing it at that level. Like my camera ain't that clean, or my effects ain't that good. I don't know how to chop. I don't know how to edit, and they get so hung up on the technical part. But if I ask them, do you know how to push the record button on your phone? Start there and just get some stuff out. Like try some stuff out and see what works.
I wanna take the conversation in a little bit of shine light on something that you did at a panel that I don't know if we had a chance to talk about on our Wednesday lives,
Uh,
where there was a comparison between male and female content creators, and the fact the fact that female content creators have it harder because of the prep work they need to do before they turn the camera on versus a male content creator, since it's a guy and they don't really care how they look, that it's easier for them to create content.
okay, so here's the thing. Nobody's gonna pay $5 to see my feet on any platform.
Your
Let's
feet?
just be no, nobody want to see these feet clear, right? If I go and I put a sexy photo of myself in my swimwear, whether I got abs or no abs, females' content is always going to perform better because thirsty men consume the content. So when I hear a woman say it's harder for a woman to get on here and create content, I'm just like, do you think about the stuff guys go through that we actually put some time in the thought and the how can we deliver value? And if you see my content right after a girl in swimwear, well, whose content is going to do better? Is that fair to me? I'm giving good stuff. I'm giving value. And she's just like, you know what? I'm going to break the internet real quick. And then boom, 100 million views, 3,000 likes and shares. And it's like, yo, so I can't subscribe to the it's hard for girls. No, it's not hard. You know how many people who are just naturally being themselves on social media, doing really well without lashes, without makeup, without wigs, without weave, without Louis Vuitton and Fendi, just going on there telling a story and still putting out great content.
For me, it's I feel like the same fear that a female content creator has before they turn on the camera is the same fear that a male content creator will have. It's just in a different
100%.
context. Like, yeah,
100%.
they may be worried about, you know, their makeup and all that kind of stuff, but guys may be worried about how they look, how they sound, what's the tone that they're trying to deliver. So it's more of like a lot of stuff happening in your head. So it's equal fear. It's just how do you get over that fear of being in front of a camera, right? When you boil it down, it's just primal fear that you're in front of something where people can see you fuck up, and if you fuck up, they're gonna get you're gonna get judged by it, and you're gonna feel like, oh, look at this person, he sucks, he doesn't know how to talk, he needs to practice before he turns that camera back on, right? But in reality, it's like you need to document your process. You need to be able to look back at this video that we just made today when we get like a year down the road and we have like 5,000 people coming to these videos, right? We can look back and be able to say, look, that's where we started at.
Yeah.
We had to do that to get here.
Yeah.
You know, you got to value the process and the time that it's going to take you to go through it and just overcome the fear. Am I still afraid to create content or turn the camera on? I still get it, the little butterflies in my stomach, even when I go do a public speaking gig, even when I go do a workshop, a Save the Creatives event, or whatever it is. I still feel the nerves. It's just that I've learned to funnel them and like control them and not let them control me. And I just push through. It's almost like I free fall into the public speaking persona that people see me do, or even right now they're hearing me speak. They're like, yo, he's on one. But it's like, no, I fall into it. I still get nervous, yo. It's just I fall into it, you know? For you, it's a little bit different because you're just an animal at this and you just go for it. But
well, what that was going to be my thing. It's like, I think because people have seen me show up on camera with Eucerin on my face dry. Like, I don't care about, and that's the thing that I think I wish people could get to a level of being so comfortable with themselves that it don't matter if a camera's on or not. So I think a lot of that work happens off camera. It's like, yo, how can I just be comfortable with me? I'm so happy with me. When I look in the mirror, I'm happy with me, right? And if I'm not happy, what's the steps I need to take to get to that happy spot so that turning on the camera is nothing? Like, I see, like, there's a YouTuber that I follow, and if you look in her comments, man, they fat shame this girl so bad in the comments. But she's so confident that it's like she don't even care. Like, she's so, and it's like, yo, you got to be that self-aware. You can build that confidence, right, over time of just loving yourself and some self-love, and then you get to a point there it's like, man, that stuff don't even faze me, right? People used to write comments under my YouTube channel like, oh man, you know, we would receive the message a little bit better if you took your health more serious, right? Like, you're overweight. To the average person, somebody might not ever put another video up after that, right?
Yeah.
So I felt that it was a need to write to him in the comment, like, yo, when's the last time your mother hugged you? Right? Like, I'm going for the jugular. You're not gonna bully me online. Cause I know you going through something internally, right? Like, when the last time your mom hugged you, sir? And I just leave it at that.
That's so important. Like, I'm gonna highlight what you just said. It's like everybody's going through something.
Yeah.
Whether you think that what you're seeing online is the perfection or the ideal lifestyle that you want to be living, they're also going through something.
I get bullied all the time online. Trust me. As good as I dress, as cool as I am, I still get bullied.
Oh, I'm a first-hand account to seeing that, because remember that one time where we had some people come to the studio to check it out, and then they were like, yeah, this guy, Friend by Da Vinci, he sucks. And all this kind of stuff. I'm like, really? Tell me more. Why do you feel that way? And it's like the perception that someone will have of you just because of some quick judgment that they did because they got a snapshot of you somewhere. They don't know what was going on in your life. you know, and then they've come to that conclusion. It's like the grass isn't greener on the other side, guys. Everybody's going through shit. You're just learning how to deal with it in this game of life that we call, and we just kind of take one step at a time, bro. You can't let it overwhelm you. That's
There's
what.
people that would not trade problems with me, if I could be honest.
Hmm.
It's not that I mask a lot of stuff, but I think because this lifestyle marketing blow up of what entrepreneurship is that people have this perception that once you're an entrepreneur, like, yo, you got all the time in the world, you can go kick it at the beach, your bank account look crazy. But it's like, yo, if you only knew what it takes to sustain that, think about the mental toll that takes on you
Hmm.
when you work for yourself, right? And you like, man, what do I do if I have 3 bad months in a row? Like, do I go get a job or do I keep just pushing through, right? People
Hmm.
told me if I could make it out of COVID, because that's when kind of I started my entrepreneurship journey, right before COVID started. It's like, yo, if you make it out of COVID, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And this is from like people that have had several businesses, tried them, failed them. It's like, look, man, that first 3 years is crucial. But if you can make it out of COVID, I think you'll be all right. And then I'd look up now, bro, that was already 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, how did I do it? I can't even answer that. I don't have a course on it.
Hmm.
I pray a lot. I encourage you guys to do the same to whoever you believe in. Um, and I just know God always got me. So it's like even though when I get stressed, I'm like, oh, he must be cooking up something special for me. It's just taking a little longer. You feel me? And then I just let it rock out. So I don't have it all figured out. So don't let social media fool you guys. I got the same amount of problems and struggles and bills. Think about this. Whatever bills you got, think about the person that got that times 10 that you
Yeah.
don't see. And
Well,
that's the
a lot of people feel that like you become an entrepreneur and those bills become easier to pay. It's just you become an entrepreneur and you get more bills you have to pay. Like
bro.
it's not that they get easier; it's just you get more of them.
And then when you a stubborn habitual business starter such as myself, it comes with extra overhead that you just like, oh my gosh, like how many email addresses am I paying for? How many domain names did I buy that I haven't even started a website for? And that's the part that's like, yo, y'all don't want these problems. Like, yeah, it looks nice that we drive Teslas, but you don't want that problem when that bill come.
Well, that's the thing. I'm gonna tell you. It reminds me of uh what we talked about before we got the cars, right? It's like you don't want the problem, or even I'll put a better one for you because it's the music industry. You always say don't get into the music industry, right? But you've still done it. You've been in it, right?
Insane.
You just know how hard it is to get in there, maintain it, and be successful. I know how hard it is to build the stuff that we've built so far, like the studio, us driving these cars. It comes at a sacrifice, right? I'm not sitting at home on the couch watching a basketball game and still own this car. I can't. The
Bro, I
question,
can't.
like the question wasn't, can I afford it as a luxury item? No, the question was, does it make sense business wise? Because I drive like crazy, so that way I could save a little bit of money while I hustle my ass off to get this thing to go through. Right? It's really not the problems that we're talking about. It's not that you don't want the problems. If you want to, you have a dream and you want to be a business owner and you have an idea that you want to bring to the world, just know it comes at a great sacrifice. Along the way, you will get luxuries. You will get things that you've always wanted, but it comes at a sacrifice. What we learn to do is even at the highest moments in our careers, we have to stay, oh, come on. We have to stay focused and motivated even though it's hard. Wow. Fun times. Go ahead, my friend.
Nah, I mean, I think that's important because, like, I think that's the part that they don't understand. It's like people look at I don't know if you know this or not. People look at all people that drive Teslas as if they're rich. Like, oh, you got a Tesla, you must got some money. You gotta do something. Like, it's almost a status symbol, right? Because even if you look at the millionaires and billionaires, they got a Tesla somewhere at their house, right? It just and what you gotta realize is I didn't get a Tesla as a flex. I got a Tesla because the bins cost $100 to fill up, and I have to use premium gas, and it only lasts 3 days, and I'm back filling it up again. When I had my Kia Optima, my gas bill, because I use company gas cards, I actually got to see what I was spending per month on gas, and my gas bill was $798 a month.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is absolutely crazy. So although my car was paid off, my gas payment was as much as 2 car payments.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh no, Tesla it is. It's a no-brainer.
Dude,
So
the tolls alone, the monthly tolls alone, I used to pay around $300 to $400 a month, bro. Because I drive from Broward, Fort Lauderdale area to Miami almost every single day.
Yeah. Crazy.
So it's like, come on, man. It's a no-brainer. It's just get smart with your decisions. There's a lot of decisions that we have upcoming that we maybe still don't have experience with. But the more we get used to making these decisions, the better it'll be when the time comes and the stakes are higher. Right? You'll be a little bit more organized.
I want to phrase that because I don't want people to be like, man, he's flexing. It's a 2006 Mercedes Benz.
Yeah.
Like,
give me context.
Let me, because I would hate for somebody to see this back.
Oh, he sees Mercedes.
He just complained about going from a Mercedes to a Tesla. Like, it's a 2006.
Yeah.
Right? It's clean. We took good care of it. My wife don't even drive it. It just sits. I drive it when the Tesla needs to charge.
But talk about before the Mercedes.
I had my Kia Optima.
And before the Kia?
Before the Kia, I had a Lexus.
Ooh, okay.
ES300.
And before that?
Mitsubishi Diamante.
Oh, I know what those are. That's the Galant.
The Diamante was the big version
of the Galant. Yeah,
so I upgraded from the Galant to the Diamante. But my very first car ever was a 1987 Chrysler LeBaron with the rag top.
Oh.
And that thing filled up with $5.
Well, that was back then. That was a different world, bro. That was different life.
Oh, man. I love that car. And then my second car, I bought from an auction for $1,300. It was a Dodge Colt.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That was nice.
And that was when Fast and the Furious was out. So I was in like a little street gang called the Street Riders.
Oh, you did too?
Yeah, bro. TVs in the headrest, PlayStation in the bag.
The whole thing. So that's the reason I brought it up was not for us to geek out about cars, but I wanted you to hear, anybody who's watching this, it's not that we just woke up and we have these like luxuries, right? We had to go through a little bit of a struggle, and it's just we got smarter along the way. And we made better decisions along the way. And financially with credit and all that stuff, if y'all don't know about money because no one ever taught you, or the school never taught you, the school system never taught you, YouTube it, y'all. Like, we're in the decade of abundance right now. Like, information is at your fingertips. With ChatGPT and all the technology out there, there should not be a reason why you don't know something.
Yeah.
You don't have to necessarily spend $5,000 on a retainer to hire one of us, for example. Like that I'm bragging about how people don't even need us and our services because you can go out and get it yourself. But if you do need someone to help you and facilitate that for you, that's what we do. That's why we have jobs.
Yeah, it comes at a cost though, and that's what I try to explain to people. Like, I'm never going to encourage people to just spend money because I want their money.
Yeah.
I'm telling people, if you spend money with me, I'm going to help you skip some steps that I already did, so you don't make either the same mistakes or you can bypass some stuff and skip some steps. But be clear. Before I bought my house, I made it very clear to my mind, because I bought the house by myself. I didn't put my wife on it because my wife had like school loans and she was working on building her credit and things like that. And I was like, no, I'm going to do it in my name. So we only showed just my income, but for like 6 months straight, bro. You think I was eating out? No, bro. It was top ramen, hot sausages. It was the basics, bro, because it's like I was dedicated to make sure that I'm never going to be nowhere else where these people keep raising my rent every year to the point where I'm going to be like, yo, I cannot spend $3,000 on a 1 bedroom apartment. I'm sorry. I'd rather own something at that point. And that was a decision I had to make. So yeah, it's great to be a homeowner and all of that, but it's a cost
Yeah,
to own a house, right? I just had a plumber here, had a snake a line, $500 easily,
that's crazy.
just to tell me that I need to switch to 1 ply toilet paper. Like,
You told me that was bugging.
yeah,
But
but
look,
go ahead.
there's one thing that from this conversation I want people to walk away with, and it's around PR and branding, right? So we've talked about all this journey that we've gone on, and the mental state, and just the fact of organizing yourself to get into a better space mentally. What else can someone do when it comes down to PR marketing so that they can expose their brand better, or maybe their products or services in a better way? I know, and I want to gear the conversation, keep it like in as far as platforms and writing content and things like that. Like, I feel like that is something that is not being talked about enough. And when people hear it nowadays, like even Gen Xers or whatever generation you want to talk about, when they hear, oh, you got to write an article, they almost don't really believe that it works. So it's like, can anyone start a platform? Can anyone start a blog, and is it worth it? Or do you feel like there's only specific industries that would benefit from starting their own platform?
What I would encourage people, one is everybody should have their own site. Start there. Like everybody should have their own site. If your name is Franklin Live, you should try and get franklinlive.com, right? Because when it's your name, Google's gonna bump that name to the top of the search results when you actually own the domain name for your name. So that's the easiest way to start getting Google to recognize you, is to actually have a personal website. Because if not, Google's going to wait until you get traction on other platforms, and then they're going to pull your stuff to start creating your knowledge panel. So if you ever look at people's knowledge panels, sometimes it comes from their IMDb, sometimes it comes from their LinkedIn, sometimes it comes from their Facebook. But if they would have started with their website, they would have got there faster than waiting on the social media platforms. So I always encourage people to have their own website and then start blogging from your own site first. Because what that's going to do, that's going to allow you to go reach out to other sites to show them a showcase of your work, for you to be a contributing writer to other places, right? We talked about the Medium thing, right? Like if you did not have your own website with your own blog, you can go on Medium, create an account for free, and you can write articles and thought leadership around whatever you want to talk about. It's a free platform to say whatever you want, share your insights, give your perspective, and you just write it down, because the written form is rich content that Google's looking to share to the world when people have questions. So I always say, look, start with your own website, but I don't think people understand the article writing thing, because there's no initial tangible ROI for that.
Oh.
So they like, okay, I'm writing an article. How I know somebody even going to read it?
Yeah. Does LinkedIn have a benefit of you writing an article on LinkedIn? Because they have their own option to write articles now.
They have their. I have not seen. I've done a couple from the Big Reach business page. I have not seen the benefits yet, but it's early, so I want to just say we got to get the reps in first, and then now we can compare, right? But if I had my own site, this is what I tell people, right? Start with your site, right? angelmartinez.com or thefamousangel.com, right? And then think about how can I provide thought leadership for my local community? And then instead of saying I'm gonna start a blog, say I'm gonna start a publication. Because that's basically kind of what a blog was, right?
Yeah.
But there's so much opportunity that comes with being a publication that now you are considered local media. Whether you got one site visitor or 5,000, you are now in the community of media and press and wherever you are.
Yep.
So I would always encourage people, start your own site, but then think about how can you impact the community with your own publication, right? Why we have South Florida Digest, right?
Mm-hmm.
It don't make sense for me to do Las Vegas Digest because I can't be boots on the ground right now.
Yeah.
But I can definitely know what's going on in South Florida, from Palm Beach to Miami to Key Biscayne, wherever I need to be. So I would start there, right? Because what you do is, one, you telling other people what's going on in the community, right? Two, it's giving you an opportunity to collaborate with other people in the community, right? Three, then eventually you can advertise to those same people that are in the community once you get some eyeballs on your publication.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of the things nobody talks about. Like, yo, how do I start a publication? Oh, you just put a website up and start writing. Start queuing that thing up. What's going on in the town? What's a great restaurant you ate at yesterday?
And you could do a website for free, right? Like you don't need to put money down for a website.
I'm never going to tell nobody that because I would recommend your website be an official domain of whatever the thing is, right?
So what would it cost? Like just for someone to do it the right way, right? What would it be like? Like an average cost?
The average cost, you can get away with having a site with the domain name for about $85 a year. That's the skinny shoestring budget, as they call it. $85 a year. That'll include your domain, your hosting, and actually getting an official site up, like a WordPress created site. And when you get into the Squarespaces and the Wix, you're gonna pay a little premium. It's gonna be about $250, maybe $300 if you sell products. It'll get up there. So start with a little $85, man.
Just think about it as a permanent business card.
100%.
Right? You're gonna be spending $85 anyways on about maybe 5,000 business cards. Let's say you go to uprinting.com or something like that. So just think about it. They'll never run out. It's your website. It'll always be out there, and it's going to be searchable. And that's the best thing about it. You got to be able to be found, right? Discoverable.
Discoverability. And that's the thing. It's like, so imagine you have a platform where, oh man, people actually go. Like sometimes when I see like our writers at South Florida Digest or we write something for Da Vinci Mag and we put an article out and in like 5 minutes it had like 33 views. And I'm like, damn, people really be finding our stuff. And I'm like, who are these people? I want to meet them. I want to know how they got there, right? And that's just over time, right? I made it really important because I've seen what all the big publications do. And if you ever look at publications, usually no one publication, if somebody starts a publication and understands it, any publication owner never just has one. They never just have one because they see the power in it. So then you start looking at some of the publications you go to and look at the bottom about who the real name is, right? So say you go to Las Vegas Times, and then you go to New York Weekly, and then you look at the bottom. All of those sites be owned by one big conglomerate media company that owns all of these different publications because they understand the power of having them. This is advertisers. This is eyeballs. And the more sites I got and the more eyeballs I get, I can put people in my ecosystem of publications.
Man, we talked about a lot we're heading into that top of the hour. We even included an application. So if y'all don't know about Medium, definitely check out Medium. You can get it on a smartphone or you can go through the website, but it's a cool place for you to write articles. I actually put up my first article on Medium, man. It was really
But
cool.
did you share it on LinkedIn?
There, you got me. You got me. I have not shared it on LinkedIn. I will
See?
do that. Hey, look, I'll admit, I forgot. I was so excited about publishing it on Medium. I hit publish and I totally forgot about, yo, I got to share this thing across the other things.
So imagine this: would you put a podcast episode out on YouTube and not promote that it's out?
Nah, it don't make no sense. It's the same thing as an article. That's the thing, man. It's like written.
And that's what I've got to tell people about. Like this is my gripe with music artists. They put a song out. Hey guys, I need everybody to pre-save my song, man. Beautiful Sex Room is coming out. I need all my friends and people to pre-save it. Everybody pre-saves it. The night before, they get real heavy. Tonight at 12 p.m. It drops. It's gonna drop, man. I want y'all at 12:01. We going live. I want to get real feedback from the song. Boom, song drops. The next day, yo, I got such tremendous feedback for the song. I'm gonna release after I get 100 comments in under this post. I'm gonna release the official video. And then 3, 4, 5 days go by and they try and get that 100 comments and they don't get it. They be like, you know what? We just gonna let it go. And they drop it anyway, right? And then the video comes out. Yo, check out my new video. Beautiful Sex Room is out everywhere on all platforms. Boom. And then they stop.
They lost momentum. Right there, you lose momentum.
You can't, like I had a client that we got in Forbes, right? And she thought once she got in Forbes, that was it. I was like, well, did you promote that you were on Forbes? Like, what's the follow-up?
Yeah.
You did all of this work to get there. Where's the follow-up to me? Why are we not leveraging getting it?
Mm-hmm. It's the follow-through, basically. It's like you did all this work, you put this content, whatever it is, out. Like you need to make sure you follow through with it. Now
it's just important as the
the
post.
It's the thing is like when you do new things, you forget right about the basics. It's not that hard. It's not like you have to reinvent the wheel. It's just do the steps and just make sure you consistently do those steps and it'll work. So now I got to go back, find the Medium link and put it on LinkedIn because I only did half the job. The job ain't done, like Kobe said. It wasn't done.
But imagine if I didn't tell you that, how that just would have sat on Medium.
It would have just sat there, honestly, bro. I would have forgotten about it and just let it be.
So what I do, I put an article up of yesterday in Da Vinci magazine for a fashion designer named Nikita. Now I just put the article up, right?
Yeah.
It would be stupid of me to not share on my platforms that I just wrote an article for Nikita, who just designed for Paris Hilton, who just like, why wouldn't I put that on my platform? I wrote that about her. Like we had an interview and a good Q&A. And I'm like, yo, based off this interview, man, I want to put a little piece together based off our interview. Boom. Why wouldn't I put that up? I own a PR agency. So people would say, oh, snap. Look, that was a great article that I read. Man, how can I get one of those? So your Medium article should be on LinkedIn and it should be on Instagram story and tell people, hey, check this article out that I wrote on Medium and tag Medium.
Threads and all that stuff.
Come on, bro.
Let's get it. So as we closing out our Wednesday live, what is there anything we can leave people with this week?
If you are in the South Florida area and you have not prepared for Art Basel, you really dropped the ball on being able to be in some spaces where you can network. It's a lot of people coming from out of town. So I tell people, man, if you were smart, I would be a tour guide during Art Basel. I would be offering any kind of package if I would be offering parking spots in front of my
That's a
house.
good
Like,
one. Tour guide for Art Basel.
come
You know
on,
how
bro.
many
You put a
events?
little guide together. Come on, bro. I'm
How many?
giving
How
y'all the
many? How many
game.
events do you have for Basel alone on
Total?
December? Let's say December 8th.
Oh, just December 8th?
December 8th.
Oh, I was like 5, bro. I'm at like 30 events from the 2nd to the 10th.
I feel like this year it's not too late to get into anything Basel related. There's just
No,
so much
because
happening.
everybody's competing for territory right now. There's this thing of Art Basel that has its own name, right?
Yeah.
It's the equivalent to the Super Bowl coming to town, and you're a business owner. What are you doing for this to appease this crowd that's coming to the city?
Yeah.
So if you somebody that's a business owner, you have an event space, you bake cakes, you do anything, a product, a service, and you're not taking advantage of free foot traffic that the name of Art Basel is creating for you, I can't help you.
Or I should say, you're not ready for PR and marketing yet. Gotta do a little bit of work, and then when
I
you're
can't
ready,
help you with anything because you're not even thinking how I think, right? Like, I'm gonna give you one before we go. I want to give people this one tip,
go,
and
go, go.
you might be guilty of this, Angel. I don't
I
know
might. Yeah, I
because
might.
I didn't see a post. If you have a product, a business, or a service, and you did not capitalize on the term Black Friday, you dropped the ball.
Ooh, I dropped the ball.
You dropped
I,
the ball.
I dropped the ball on that.
You owe that to your consistent clients and to get new clients to offer something,
Anything.
anything.
Wow.
I put my ebook half price. I did a free half price article for Miami Wire that I was just like, look, you got a
Oh, wow.
business or a product, I'm doing it for $150 when it's normally 300, right? Just as a like Black Friday
Like
giveaway.
something.
Something.
Is Cyber Monday like? Could it be considered the same or no?
Same thing.
Same thing.
It just don't have a good ring like Black Friday, right?
Well, because everybody. Well, actually, this year it was a little bit controversial. A lot of people didn't go out for Black Friday. A lot of people were doing online shopping.
Well,
So,
Black Friday, and that's why the
you know?
term, yeah. So it's like, you know what? I was like, you know what? Why would I, as a branding guy, why would I not offer something for one, for the people who already have spent money with me, right? And then two, as a lead magnet for new people who have wanted to try and maybe they didn't have the money. This might be their low discount barrier to entry to get access to me, right? It's only me doing it one time this year. Why couldn't I do that? So if you've had a product and service and you didn't offer anything for Black Friday, shame on you.
Shame on me, man. Shame.
Try
Shame.
Christmas.
If we could put a little, the Game of Thrones, shame. Shame. But look, that's why you are in the lane that you're in, right? If you didn't tell me these things, I wouldn't be aware of them. I wouldn't be exposed to them. So it's like it's a benefit for people to even watch these Wednesday lives, but also like when we have events and stuff like that, come and pick our brains because this is what we love to talk about. I love to talk about podcasting and storytelling, and as you could tell, Baron is a master at PR and marketing. So he has ideas for days to make sure you're active and you're part of the conversation, man. Like, shame on me for not being a part of the conversation, but it's okay. Lesson learned, and we just go and try again.
So think about, because I planted that seed, think about when Black Friday comes around, when you hear the term. Now it's like, oh shoot, I better make sure.
I gotta get ready. I gotta
Like,
make sure.
yo, Collab Studios, buy 1 hour, get one free. You feel me? Like,
Put a little flyer together real quick.
yo, we're doing Christmas mini shoots for the Black Friday, whatever the case may be. So it's like, yo, you gotta constantly talk about your business, or people will forget that it's there. It's so much content to consume. You have to tell. Just gotta remind them about your business. Like, hey, just pop on there once every 2 weeks and say, hey, I'm Baron, man. I own Big Reach PR. My job is to help people tell their story through press and online media. You want to work with me? Let's work.
Yeah.
And I'll do the same thing 2 weeks from now. Hey, my name is Baron. Because new people find you every day.
Yep. That's true. Oh man, we could go on for days. Let's give the people a break. We just did a whole hour. Today was fun. We went through a lot of different topics, bro. But yeah,
I
take
want
take.
to give a shout out to Allison McFarland.
Oh, hey, what's up? Let me put that.
Allison McFarland, because I've been a little invigorated on LinkedIn. She does a really good job. One, at the content that she puts out is amazing from a personal branding standpoint. And she's very engaged. She's always showing love. So I want to show that back. But she's in the personal branding space, and I am promoting another person who does personal branding. And it's like, yo, when you see other people doing good things, it don't take nothing away from me.
Yep.
She might be, I think she's in a different market. I think she's in like Virginia or something, right? So if you're in Virginia or you not in Virginia, check her out. She might be able to give some game too. And I think that's the conversation we always have around like doing good business. That it's just like, yo, I don't think people get it.
Yeah, I don't think people get it, man. And when they meet us, they definitely get surprised. There's a world of abundance out there. Y'all just get it. Just get up every morning and just do your best. That's all you can do. Put one step forward, and then the rest is history, like they say. We're gonna see them next Wednesday.
Yeah, so you usually say, B, take us out with one piece of advice. So I'm gonna turn it on you.
Do it.
I'm not gonna say one piece of advice. I'm gonna ask you, what's one tough lesson you learned this year so far? Now that we get into the end of the year, your toughest lesson you learned this year.
Oh, this is a good one. You know the saying that it was going around, it was going viral for a little bit, where it was like, be careful with the kindness that you show as you grow, because when you get to where you want to be, that same kindness is what will hold you back or knock you down. Right? And it's not that you have to change who you are. Like, if you are generally a kind person and you just love helping people out, I think that we both suffer from this, that we see someone in need and we love to jump in and help them out.
Yeah.
I feel like this year I learned the lesson of taking the time out to know when I need to step away and recharge, so that I'm able to still consistently deliver that value to people that need my help. The hardest lesson for me was that I had to be selfish. Like, it's so easy for me to get up and help someone else, like achieve a goal, or get up at 6 a.m., 5 a.m. for some event that we're going to. But
Yeah.
it's really hard for me to get up and do it like for myself. If I had to at 5 a.m., I'll keep it real. And this year, I've allowed myself to show up for myself. If that makes sense, right? So instead of having to rely on the fact that we're going to an event together, it's like, can I get up and still go to an event regardless of if I have my team with me, regardless if I have someone there to help me out? Can I stand alone? And I feel like this year I've learned to stand alone, man, and live in the silence.
That's it, man. Yo, y'all been tuned in. Y'all see, I'm getting ready for bed. I don't put the do-rag on. Let y'all know that's how authentic my brand is, man. I just be being me.
Wow.
Y'all just be y'all, man. People gonna love you out there. Just be you.
That's it. Just be you.
So we'll see you next week, man. Angel's gonna run next week. I want to make it a point for and this is just a 2024 goal, that I want to be strategic and actually having some guests lined up.
Yeah, let's do
Me
it.
and you could do this all day long, but I need to add some attention to really bringing some guests to give some perspective, because I think good dialogue works.
Yeah.
But I gotta vet some people, because I don't have some lives where it got bad. So
You go crazy. No, but yeah, let's do it. If anybody wants to show up and be a guest and apply, hit us up in the DMs, and we'll get you some questions your way so that we can make it happen.
there it is.
All right. Peace.